Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop today. This is part 4 of the T-51 Power Armor series. I'll be going over the motor functions for the back and all the back details. Enjoy! So, picking up where we left off, we're going to start off by building the abdomen. So I'm using this regular piece of cardboard here, and it has 2 notches to fit the PVC pipe right there. And when I stick it through, just like that, and then we're going to add some EVA foam details. Now I'm using some EVA foam, and first I just got to cut this up. Alright, and now we're just going to glue this to the torso spaced apart every so often with some contact cement. I have my fan running. Yeah. I put this one on while it's still wet because I had to tuck it up underneath the chest plate a little bit. To mount the side pieces of foam on the abdomen, I have this piece of cardboard left over. Use some black hot glue to keep that profile, and it's going to go right up in here, just like so. I trimmed those up a little bit on the sides. I also added some elastic bands going over the joints on the front, just so when it leans backwards, it stretches a little bit and it has some resistance. Now we're gonna start working on the crotch piece right here. This is just one piece of cardboard. I sketched out this shape that I see on the image, and then I'm going to bend it. I bent it up, added some slits in the side so it has that texture. And I got this piece right here as an extra addition because it was a little too short. Cut slits in it, glued those together. I added some cardboard and a little chunk of foam right there so it has something to mount to. I also added some popsicle sticks to keep it light. Also put some duct tape over it to make it smoother. I'm going to glue that right there. Now I'm just adding this piece on the inside just to close up that gap. I'm gonna glue that right there. This is a very simple piece. It doesn't really need that much explanation. So there's this piece right here on the crotch protector in that. I actually made out of one strip of cardboard, and I lined it with hot glue for that extra rim, and then 4 dots of hot glue for those rivets. I'm gonna glue it right there to the pelvis. That's on there, pretty good. And also I added some more elastic straps. I just hot glued them together, and some of them are glued in place like down there, and I had to duct tape it here. All right, we're taking a break from the armor pieces of the power armor, and we're gonna start working on the motors. So I resorted to my Lego Technic building skills and came up with this iteration right here. Take a close look at that if you wanna rebuild this. It has a sturdy structure around it, and it's just 2 gears and then a Lego XL torque motor. This is not the horsepower ones, but this is the design I use, and I have 2 of them. One's gonna go on each shoulder, and I figured out if I put them right there, we have a good chance of it pulling towards the chest and the back will open up. These can actually lift 12 pounds together, and the back is far lighter than 12 pounds. So this is the iteration. I'm not gonna go that far into detail because I'm not a Lego channel. The Brick Experiment channel is the one that actually helped me out with this. Not personally, but watching his videos is where I actually came up with this design. And just like how I gave credit to Shadiversity for giving me medieval information, I'm gonna shout out the Brick Experiment channel. So thank you very much, my Finnish bro. Okay, if I have to after this, I will hot glue it. And even if I do, don't worry, I'm not terrorizing you Lego fans. I don't glue my Legos together. I would only be hot gluing the bottom layer, but so far it's zip tied and there's no glue. The zip ties seem pretty sturdy actually, so I'm actually promised that these will work. So let's test this out, and if it works, then no glue, but if it doesn't, we're adding glue. Okay, I have my paracord running through the front of the suit, and they are both hooked up to just a wooden dowel as a test here on each side. The slack will be pulled inward and wrap around the inside of the gears here, but this is the first honest test you're about to see. Test number 1. Oh, yeah, the battery just fell out, but it might need some assistance in readjusting, but look, it's open. Check this out. It stopped and it like kind of stuttered a little bit, but that is okay. Look at the openness of it. I gave it a little push, but like I said, that's a fixable problem. It opens, and I can actually step inside of it. Okay, now that we have the mechanics figured out, we're gonna go back to the armor. Also, I changed the gear ratio, so this motor is now spinning the same way as this one. All I did was just add an extra gear, and now they're both pulling over and wrapping around the wheel the same way. So I wrapped paper around the shoulder pad only on the right side because I'm gonna make a pattern to add a trim piece that you see along the shoulder line. Mark, why don't you do templates? Why don't you put templates in the description? Because I make my own patterns from scratch, that's why. Boom, now I have a good pattern. So I have these hot glue rivets. I typically save them if I have a surplus of them, but it's just a dot of hot glue. These are like a ½ an inch big, and 14 I think I have here, and I can just put 7 evenly spaced across the trim. So if there's anything I did that I absolutely loved on my T-45 armor, is the back, because the back I actually think was perfect. And just like last time, I'll be using these icy domes that you usually get from a gas station, and they're usually free, to make the tanks that go on the back. So I basically traced out the width of that, and right now I'm cutting it a little bit smaller than this mark, but I'm gonna cut out that shape on both sides. So I'm using my roll of, I think this is 10mm EVA craft foam I got from Michael's. Then I took a measurement of the part that is square, because the domes will be here and here, so this will be how tall the foam is gonna be. Now I have a fan running, and I stress this all the time because this stuff has a lot of fumes, so when you use contact cement, always do it in a ventilated area, and probably also wear a respirator. But we're using this, and if you didn't know this already, you stick the contact cement to both sides of what you're gluing, and then let them almost completely dry, and then they get tacky, and then you stick them together. It's not like hot glue. Pretty good. Now the other side, same thing. They're being held in with friction right now, but this is how they look, and I'm actually very pleased so far. Alright, this is what it's looking like. The trim is looking pretty good. The back tanks are looking splendid. And the last thing we're going to do for this video to wrap it up, we're going to put that little spokes wheel detail here, a wheel for the power core / opening mechanism, and then the butt plate. For the wheel on the back, I'm actually just going to use some paper plates, cut out the shape out of this paper plate, and reinforce it with some popsicle sticks. I also remarked where it opens up and locks. still functions. For the butt plate, we're keeping it very simple. I have 1 square foam for my big sheet. It is 14 by a foot long, and I'm going to glue it in between this groove right here, so when it opens up, and I'll be able to put glue right in there. I kept curling it as I placed the contact cemented pieces together, so then it keeps that contoured shape. Last detail is this little wheel. I don't really know what it is or what its function is, but I used a plastic cap off of a container, cut the edges off, added a wooden dowel, drilled a bunch of 1/2-inch holes to make it look similar, and now that is going to go right there. And here's our progress so far. I'm going to get into the suit. The motors are definitely slow, but even with the air tanks, the wheel, and the butt plate on the back, it is still actually light enough. As a matter of fact, removing the cavities for the air tank actually made it lighter because the cardboard was very thick there. But even though the motors are slow, it still opens up. And even though my hand was there for extra assistance, it just does it a little slow. I was doing that for a little safety precaution. But it closes and opens on its own, and that is good enough for me no matter what speed it is. The back is still light as can be, and I'm probably not going to add anything else to it, but here's me walking around in it. Everything still feels pretty secure. I did have to go back and duct tape the joints, add some more elastic, and constantly maintain the suit as I built it. And if you're building this the same way I am, you're going to have to do the same thing as well. That's just what happens when you build big bulky suits like this. But this is definitely way more advanced than all my other mech suits or Fallout power armors. As a matter of fact, it's the most advanced build I've done ever on the history of this channel. So that's going to have to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next edition of this series.